My name is Ifeanyi Aneke, and I'm part of the team for the ball here in Nigeria. I'm the country assistant director. My job description basically is to assist the country director and then also help build the team, recruit volunteers, develop the team, and then also implement Love Your City in the different sites that we have.
That's great. So what are you specifically involved in volleyball?
I'm involved in both team development and outreach, Love Your City outreach. I am very much involved in when it comes to Love Your City out there, walkthroughs and boys group. I'm very much involved in that.
What was the first thing that connected you to volleyball? Like, was there a person you met or something you were a part of?
So I've known Emeka since I was like 4 years old. So we go to the same church, and he was around. We grew up together around the same place before he left to be live in the States with the parents. So it took quite a long time before he came back. Pretty much, I think he was up to 20 years or thereabout before he came back to Nigeria, and he got married, and he started talking about relocating back to Nigeria to work with young people, basically as a missionary. And I was graduating from the university around that time as well. Or I already graduated, did my year of service when all this was happening. So we got talking, and he told me about Boy with the Ball, and it wasn't so clear what it was, but the thing that got my attention really was that it was about young people, and it was about helping them discover their purpose. So I really was interested to know more. And in 2014, when Jamie and Kathy came, we had to talk through different. Then it was VOMC, that is team volunteers, outreach, mentoring, and small groups. Just talking through it, and then it started adding up. Okay, this may work, but I really argued because I felt like I'm not sure this is going to work in this climate because it's different. If you are going to help people, especially people living in the slums, you need to have a lot of money, and you have to go out there with something really to help them because they are looking forward to get something from you. So, but as we just kept talking and going back and forth with questions, Jamie answered a lot of questions that I had, and said, well, we can give it a try and see how it goes. And the next day, we went to the university to talk with the administration to see how we can get volunteers and begin to implement Love Your City. That was how I got involved, and it felt like I've been a part of it because it was something that I saw myself in. I saw myself like I'm called to help young people, especially to find and discover their purpose in life and then to reach their dreams. So, long story short, that is how I got involved. I volunteered and we started meeting weekly till 2016 when I was now invited to come in full time as a staff so that we can be able to build a structure for Boy with the Ball here in Nigeria.
Awesome. What were some of the things that you were facing as a young person before you came into volleyball?
Okay, so I actually was working in a paint company, Sharon Paints, as at that time because I just finished my university degree and I went for 1 year of service. I was at a place where I was really searching for what should I build my career on. So I had a series of questions to ask because originally what I wanted to do was to become a medical doctor. I wanted to study medicine and become a medical doctor because of the passion I had to save lives. But then, because it didn't quite work out the way I thought it was going to work out, there were a lot of questions in my heart. I was asking God, I was asking my parents, I was asking people around me, really just to find out exactly what I'm supposed to do. So instead of applying for jobs after I finished my 1 year of service, I was delaying because I needed to really find out what should I do. And it was in the midst of that that I got this offer to come in as a sales representative for a paint company, which someone from our church works as a supervisor. So I got involved there in that was in 2014. Yeah, it was in 2014, pretty much later. Then that was what I worked till 2016. So, but before I got involved in Boy with the Ball, I was really at a place where I was, you know, trying to really find for sure what God's purpose for my life was.
Yeah, that's cool. What were some of the passions you realized that you had or things that you cared about as you're a young person, as you're growing?
So basically, I didn't like the fact that a lot of people grew up not really knowing what they are supposed to do. You see a lot of young people growing up and then ending up doing a job that they never really wanted to do. So I felt like people can do much more than that by maybe getting the right guide when they are pretty much at a place where they need to choose their career. So purpose discovery was really one of the major things that I had passion for because for me, I saw that if I had someone that helped me get that right early enough in my life, it would have helped a lot. But then somehow got orchestrated and put people in my life that really helped me to get to a place because he helped me to discover that I am not actually called to work in the hospital, but then I'm called to work out there in places where people are, where people are not really reached, and people can be sick in their body, but then they are spiritually, emotionally, psychologically sick, and these are the ones he has called me to heal. So getting to that place, it made me actually start looking at the fact that over time, not intentionally knowing that that was what I was doing, I cared for people. I paid attention to people. I would just listen as they onboarded and share whatever struggles they are going through. And maybe I could pray with them or just share a few pieces of advice that would be helpful to them. So this really formed my passion, and then that young people would be able to thrive and not become uh, tools in the hands of the bad elements, actually.
That's really cool. That's something that I also run into a lot as I'm in school, is a lot of people are going for something that will get them money or help them to live comfortably, but then their hearts are never going to be okay because they hate the job that they're doing. So I totally agree with that.
What was some of the stuff that you see young people in your community facing?
That would be really one of the major things is identity crisis. People face a lot of identity crisis where they are trying to copy other people, become like other people, and they've not really found out who they are themselves. And it leads them into a lot of struggles, maybe getting their hair to be in a certain way or painting their face in a certain way, and then fear actually of the future uh, in the sense that because of what's happening in the society, they don't really know what their future is going to be. And then poverty is actually key. One thing that is major here is poverty. People, especially people in areas where we are reaching, you can see poverty really leaking and then limiting the potentials and the things that they could do. And they have to, some of them would have to drop out of school. And then another thing would be drugs and then sexuality.
Do you have any stories of where you've met a young person who is facing those things you're talking about. But then through you guys walking with them, they've been able to rise out of that. And then what are the ways that, like, as you're walking with them, you saw things started to change when you tried those different things?
I remember one who just visited. It was maybe about 3 weeks ago. She now lives in Abuja, which is the capital of Nigeria. Uh, but in 2015, when we started going to Ikeke, it was the compound where she lived with her mom, her dad is late, with her mom and brothers, that we actually started our first tutoring, and it was under a mango tree. So we would always come there every Saturday and we'll spend time with them and with the family and then with the kids as they gather. So through that, we got to know that she was really at a place where she's struggling. She just finished high school and she wasn't sure if she was going to meet up with the score to get into college. So it was a place of uncertainty for her, especially as the family was struggling to make ends meet as well. So she was in a place where she doesn't know where her fees were going to come from if she eventually goes to further her education, and then if she will be able to meet up with the mark and then get into school. But just going through the facts to know what exactly she was passionate about and what she would want to study helped her to make a choice. She decided that she would like to study public administration, and after I think about a year, she got admission into one of the polytechnics in Enugu here, and she graduated. She's married with 2 kids now. She's living her best life. Um, when she got here last 3 weeks, she was telling me that she has plans to actually leave Nigeria and move to Canada, where she would be pretty much maybe into healthcare. So she's taking some courses in healthcare, caregiving, and all of that just to further her career because she at that point said she really wanted to be a doctor. She wanted to really help. So it related to my story, and I had to share what really happened with me. And I told her that it might be something that is in your heart, but you need to really find out what are the things that really interest you and what are the things that makes you feel like you have the solution to this. And then what did you study in your high school? What are the courses you took? Because that would eventually lead to what you would study in college. So that's how she came up with the public administration. So she's doing great right now. And then there is one other who we met through one of our programs, moral instruction. Her name is Mercy. She just walked up to me after the day's moral instruction, and she said she could hear God calling her back to Himself as we spoke. So she shared the story that she lost the dad, and after about a year, she lost the brother, and it was the elder brother who led her to Christ. So it made her feel like, oh, I don't think that God really exists if He could allow this to happen to me. So I think I should just, you know, go back and do whatever I need to do because I don't think God cares about me. I don't think He really loves me. But encouraging her and praying with her helped her to get her feet back to a place where she started seeing that God really loves her and God cares about her. So as at that time, because she already lost the dad, and then she has about four other siblings, or five of them. So the mom was really struggling. She doesn't have much that she's doing to take care of them. So she was on the scholarship, but then the person who offered the scholarship was making demands on her to get involved sexually with her. So it was something that really she was like, I don't know what else to do. Maybe this will be the end of education for me because I'm not going to give in, but then there is no hope elsewhere. So, but through one of the contacts we had, we were able to get her into another school where she finished her high school, and she also filed in to learn how to manage a pharmacy with someone. She did that for about a year. So currently she's out. She knows how to give injections. She knows how to prescribe drugs. And she's getting ready to go into nursing school right now.
That's really cool. I love those stories.
I guess as you worked with Boy with a Ball, what kind of transformation have you seen within the community?
Well, basically, starting from me, I would say that my life has changed a lot because ordinarily before now, I used to be a very shy person.
Mhm.
I wouldn't hold this conversation. I wouldn't be able to tell all these stories if it were to be before now. But through Boy with the Ball, I've really learned how to be bold and also to be able to share my stories without feeling intimidated or feeling low in any way, but knowing that actually my voice holds something and someone needs to hear me because somehow that will help the person to find their own voices. So, and Boy with the Ball have also helped me to learn how to work with teams, knowing that I need other people really to grow and then to be able to do a whole lot of things that I'm called to do. That is not just something that I have to do by myself. And in the community, one thing I've seen happen is that as we go and as we share our stories, people are able to make connections and see that if it could happen in this person's lives, then they also believe that it could happen for them as well. So it's not something that happens very fast, but we see that gradually people's lives begins to change. And most people that we met in Ikirike when we started are no longer living there. Some of them have moved out. Some of them have gone further in their lives where they have maybe beautiful career, wonderful business, and maybe a home of their own. So we've seen all of those things happen. Even some people, I remember walking into a mall one of the days and someone called me and said, Uncle. And I was looking at the face and like, who are you? Where do I know you from? And she was like, you came to my school. You usually would come every week and you had a club in our school, which I was part of sometime. She mentioned the year and she said, hope you guys still go there because what you did helped me a lot to even get to where I am now. And I believe it's going to help other people as well. So those are the kind of stories we get to see every day. Most times you walk into a street where you think nobody knows you, and there's a lot of people who know you, who probably we've met through one of our programs.
That's very cool. What's your favorite part about being a part of Love Your City? Or part of Boy Club as a whole?
Yeah, it's about the relationships, I would say, just how people are able to connect with each other and then we don't feel like this person is greater than the other, but just our ability to just see everybody as the same and then build friendships that are very intentional that eventually leads to transformation in people's life. And it makes it easy to see transformation because I've seen the two sides where you just have to tell people from your own high holes where you tell them, hey, I know what you need to do and you just have to do it this way. Then when you come alongside them and telling them, hey, let's learn together how to do this. You just come alongside and allow them to make their mistakes and still guide them through it. And then they begin to ask you questions based on what happened in your own lives. And as you share, their own lives are changed because they are learning to just see how Jesus transformed their life and also to see their own lives transformed as well.
For the young people in your community, what do you hope for their futures?
I really hope that everyone would be able to find who God made them to be and to begin to live that out because it's crazy to just have people exist and do life just because every other person does it. That when you live for something that even when you're gone, you'll be remembered for it. So that's my hope for young people in my community, that they would be able to find who God made them to be and also to live that out.
What's your advice for those young people trying to figure out who they want to be?
I'll say that it's doable and God is ready to show to anyone who is willing to know. Because the thing is, you can't get to know how a product is apart from the manufacturer. You need to listen to the manufacturer to really know what the product is capable of doing. So we can look at different ways of finding what your purpose is, but if we don't get to the place where we reach out to the manufacturer, maybe reach out to the manual in the appliance, we wouldn't be able to find out for sure that this is the purpose of this appliance. So my advice would be, God is right there by your side and He's willing to help you. And if you are able to just listen and obey just little instructions that He's giving you, you'll figure it out. And it will blow your mind to see how far you can get. I'm a living testimony.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for calling us. This has been a really great call to hear your story more and get to know you more. So thank you.
Thank you, Shia. I appreciate it.
Yeah.